When everything you know is wrong.
We are fighting the fake news.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Let's set some boundaries with a spoiled control freak. Is that why you're doing this? Well, then get your shit together. All your shit. So it's together.
In a few hours, she'll probably be sane enough to work herself into some sort of towering Jesus-based rage at the hazy recollection of being seduced by some kind of cruel Samoan.
I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of the world. I'm afraid I can't help it. I'm afraid I can't. I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of the world. I'm afraid I can't help it. I'm afraid I can't. I'm afraid of Americans.
Who are these people, these faces? Where do they come from? They look like caricatures of used car dealers from Dallas. And sweet Jesus, there are a hell of a lot of them at 4:30 on a Sunday morning.
I'm pretty good at dealing with irritating things most of the time because 95% of my life is extremely irritating.
You don't say.
Yeah, I do say, but I have been irritated to a point that I don't even know how to deal with right now. I am so pissed off as we sit here starting this show tonight for a variety of reasons. First is the show technically has gotten bigger, so we're working harder to get the show going, which is a pain in the ass.
And there's only two of us, which makes it really hard.
Yeah.
We need help. We need people that
we need
will
to be able
work
to
for us
walk
without
into
getting paid.
we need to be able to walk into a room that works and not have cats eating cables. And here's the thing: I thought it was the dog. I literally thought it was the dog. It wasn't the dog.
Which we're going to need a Puppy D update later on.
I'm grateful.
But I'll let you into your purse first.
I'm grateful for her this week because I've needed the emotional support. So that's a fact.
Now, when the Rotten Studio gets finished, we should be able to not have cats eat wires.
You have more cats at your house than I do.
Yeah, but they can't get in that room.
That's true. It does have a lock. It's not like
Exactly.
It's not like your living room or whatever.
Exactly. It's not like the living room, the bathroom, the closets. No, that room has under lock and key. I'm going to put a little electric fence zap collar thing right there at the door.
I'm okay with that. This has just been a very trying week. And it sucks because I thought that we were through the hard stuff this year, and I'm still recovering from the apartment burning down.
Last year?
Happened like a year ago to the day, pretty much.
Yep.
And still dealing, kind of trying to recover. I thought I had just gotten done with the fallout from that, and here we go again. I went to go...
You know what it is? The Japanese are taking their revenge on you.
What do the Japanese have to take revenge on me for? I didn't do anything to the damn Japanese.
Well, apparently
and it was a good car up until this point.
Yeah.
I have a 2013 Nissan Sentra. I bought it brand new off the lot. The first brand new car I've ever owned. The first one I bought off of the lot. I signed my name to it, and I left in a brand new car with 0 miles on it.
That's really cool.
I've
never even done that. I've gotten close.
Amazing experience. And so I'm emotionally attached to this car in a major way.
Yeah, which is understandable.
I've fought to make sure that even as I am changing what I do for a living, that I can continue to make the car payments. I've fought to keep the maintenance up. I've fought to keep the bank from taking the damn thing at times. I mean, I have fought over the last 5 years for this car. And I'm coming home yesterday.
And this week it took a major friggin' dump on you.
Unbelievable. I'm coming home from Fort Worth, and I'm thinking that, I don't even really notice. I think I got off the freeway and was home about a block away from my house before I realized that there was really something catastrophically wrong with this car. I couldn't get any power as I was leaving a stoplight headed through the intersection. So I'm thinking I just got all this service done on the car. I brought it over to Midas, and we had brakes and steering and camper joints and alignment and just a bunch of maintenance stuff. That's what you do with a car. You do maintenance. You really don't have to get into replacing stuff until after the damn payments are done being made.
In theory, yeah, usually. Usually that's how it's supposed to work.
I still got 2 years of payments to make and a $18,000 Nissan Sentra without a transmission sitting downstairs. It came home on a tow truck last night.
God, that is so epically depressing. And
Nissan makes stuff. There's a bit of a trade-off. What do you drive?
I drive a Volkswagen Jetta.
And you have any of these problems?
Not yet. 2016 got 31,000 miles. 31,000 miles on it.
Oh, it damn sure better not have any of these problems.
That is the closest to a brand new car I've gotten, because when I drove it off the lot at CarMax, it had 945 miles.
Ooh.
That's as close to brand new as you can get when buying used.
That's brand new. Oh, well, you bought it used.
Yeah.
Ooh, man, I don't know how you pulled that off. 900 miles, less than 1,000 miles. And
yeah, I got lucky because apparently it was a fleet return or something like that. And I'm thinking, fleet return after 945 miles? What, did they decide to go with Did they go with the Volkswagen Passat over the Jetta? Did they decide, you know what, screw it, let's be really fancy and get the Audi A3?
Oh, the Audi.
You know, which is just the Volkswagen Jetta with a, spruced up interior and a different badge on the front of it.
Well, it was their loss, your gain. But
hey, I'm not complaining. That car has been very good to me so far.
Well, and so the Nissan's been good to me too. I haven't had any major problems until this point. And I'm hoping that Nissan and I can come to some sort of resolution here, because here's what I found out. I found out that this is a very, very, very common problem on Nissans.
How very of a common?
Oh, I have had a broken transmission for about 2 days now, and I have at least a dozen stories of other people that I know personally that have similar claims that these transmissions fail. So here's the deal. The transmission on a car is really supposed to last the lifetime of the vehicle. I mean, if you have to replace the engine, you probably should replace the transmission. But, unless you're out hot rodding it, you should get a lot of life out of it. 110,000 miles is not a lot of life. The warranty just ran out on it. So here's the thing. Nissan changed the length of the warranty in the last few years. Started out at 50,000. Now it's 100,000. Why do you think that is? Because they know there's something wrong with the transmission. They're hoping to get that warranty out to just close. See, I'm at 117,000 miles.
Yeah.
So you could arguably make the case, it's just time for new transmission. I mean,
no.
You could argue. They're going to argue that position.
Well, they're going to argue.
Right.
Yeah. Well, they're also going to argue a few different things, such as, Mr. Vicious, let me ask you, did you service your car according to the recommended schedule calendar that we provided you when you bought your car?
Do you have the receipts?
Do you have proof of said service? Did you?
Nissan can play that game all they want, because what I do have is a radio show and a big fucking mouth. That's what I do have.
That's true. You really do have a big effing mouth.
So I'm pretty comfortable at this point playing the game who's the bigger dickhead. Because if you think that I'm going to shell out $4,000 for a new transmission on a car that I still owe 2 years worth of payments on, and you're not going to feel my wrath, think again.
Now, is that the $4,000 for the new transmission, or is that for a rebuild?
Oh, it's for the new one. The rebuilt one's about $2,800.
Oh, okay.
Here's how it was explained to me. This is fun.
Yes, please do tell.
The master rebuild kit is $1,100.
And what does the master rebuild kit do?
Seals and clutches and bolts, and it's like the new stuff that goes into the transmission. So you start with that. About $1,500. $1,100 for parts, a couple $200-$300 to drop the transmission and put it back in. About $1,500 out the door. And it did. The guy on the phone goes, so that's where we start. I was like, okay, that's not terrible. I could probably swing that. All right, what else? All right, now there's two, I think he said pistons or some cylinders, something, inside of the trans, two of them, $700 a piece. Both of those could need to be replaced. Those two big cylinders connect to what he described as a $1,100 chain. Inside a part that's, it's probably as big as my torso. It's a big part underneath the car, but that's not a very big chain. It's got to be like that big, a couple feet long. $1,100 for that. So 14 plus 11, you're looking at $2,600, and then the master rebuild kit. Yeah, that could get really pricey.
Now I understand that this is Nissan's CVT transmission, which is what the constant variant transmission.
So the idea behind this transmission is that when you're speeding through gears, you don't feel it.
Yeah, according to this, and I'm reading this from NissanProblems.com, a CVT uses a steel belt or pulley system to move gears in a continuous, smooth motion.
That'd be that $1,000 belt or chain he was talking about.
It's a concept that the Washington Post says makes a lot of sense, saying the idea behind CVTs is easy to understand. A heavy-duty drive belt or chain runs within a grooved pulley system with hydraulic actuators, allowing the effective ratio to be infinitely varied within a range of ratios seamlessly. Which
all I know is that it's fancy, and expensive, and is prone to falling apart. Yeah. I have people that have Versas and Nissan vans and the Sentra. I've got a couple people that have the Altima. This is a part that Nissan has been using forever. And so here's what they're doing. What they're doing is very simple. It's a cost-value proposition. How much are we paying up front versus how much they think I'll pay for the car? If you put, I'll give you an example of another part within the vehicle that is kind of subject to something like this, which is the axle. On the front part of a Nissan, they have what's called a camper kit. It's basically the adjustments that go beside the axle that let you tilt the tires in and out.
Or just what they call the toe.
Right, the toe of the tire, exactly. How it's standing, whether it's duck-footed or is it this duck? No, pizza or fridge, whatever. Duck-footed, and then whatever this is. Those of you on the radio can't see I'm making a diamond with my fingers, so we'll explain that to them. I'm looking at myself now, going, "Oh, I'm doing this. They should know." And people on the radio are going,
"What? You didn't? What? You didn't take the time to explain the air quotes a few minutes ago?" So
ersatz, then you can hear that in my voice. That's to be assumed. So the front has all of these little parts that you can replace that allow you to adjust the alignment of the car. The rear axle on a Nissan doesn't. It's a solid axle. So, for instance, with my Nissan, the rear alignment is out. It's acceptable, but it's out just a little bit. And so when I took it in to get it aligned, he says, there's nothing we can do about it. If you want this to be aligned, you have to replace it. So the idea is that that axle is cheaper to install on the car than one with all these parts. It's kind of the same thing with the trade-off of cheap parts for the transmission. This was a cheaper option for Nissan up front. Okay, and that's acceptable. It lasts enough, let me have some problems that I can replace or repair before I go through a catastrophic transmission failure. And it doesn't, it didn't live up to that at all. So I started doing some digging. There is, in fact, a class action lawsuit brewing. I think it's Harrison, Garrison, and Davis. HGD law firm, something like that.
I don't know if I can trust
those
people.
I will know before the show next week, because I've already contacted them and said, listen, this isn't going to fly. I don't care if I have to replace my transmission myself and pay for it out of pocket. That's what I'm planning on doing. So if Nissan comes and says, hey, here's a new transmission, yeah, that'd be great, but I'm not really planning on that. The chances of that happening are what? Slim and none?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'd say you'd have a better chance of getting snow in hell.
Oh, man. Or what, like, you had Donald Trump on the show. That would be another thing that would be less likely, I think.
Oh, man,
I know.
You ruined my surprise.
I know.
We're gonna have him on next week.
Really?
Yeah.
That is neat. That's assuming he's not in prison before then.
Well, it varies.
He could be in Russia, man, like... I think he's got money stashed overseas and is basically just ready to run, by the way. I don't think he's going to go through all this impeachment stuff. Yeah. He's going to go, I'm out.
So back to your car problems. I noticed that there's two words that keep popping up in these various different complaints and everything. CVT whine, which I had never heard until yesterday.
Oh, and then you heard it driving behind me.
Yeah, because we get done with a job.
By the way, can I just say publicly on the show that if it weren't for you this week, I probably would have. I mean, I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have had to Uber. It would have cost me a shitload more money. It was just, we almost collectively didn't make it to the shop Friday. That was fun. We were
there is nothing
driving through downtown Irving, and I've got my lights flashing. He's behind me, and I'm going, please, God.
We get up to Airport Freeway, where it's under construction and it's pretty much rush hour traffic, and people
you're driving through a construction
people are
zone,
honking and screaming, and people are looking at me weird, and I'm thinking, man, my car's working. Blame the guy in front of me. Come on, it's that guy. Come on, jerks.
Man, you couldn't hear me in my car, but I just kept saying,
oh, yes, I could.
Could you please just push? Please just push.
I had the windows up, a Sirius XM satellite going, and I could still hear him screaming.
I was freaking out.
In the car in front of me.
Why are you making me out to be like I'm unbalanced? I was... Excuse me?
You were understandably
upset. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, come on. We've discussed this, I think, episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You're kind of loud.
Keep her moving. I am kind of loud. So what?
And that's okay.
Some people are kind of quiet. Is that?
Yeah. Well, behind that,
no,
it's all good.
I say what I think. I speak with diction. I enunciate. People are terrified of that, by the way. You know that? I get accused of being such a dick because I enunciate all my words.
Oh, hey, did you know that the 2013 Altima fails at around 60,167 miles on a transmission?
And that's why Nissan changed the warranty.
And yet somehow the Versa makes it further?
That's why Nissan changed the warranty from 50,000 miles to 100,000 miles.
That is crazy.
So anyway, there is now a website called www.brokennissan.com. Then guess who owns that?
I'm going to guess you.
So if anyone from Nissan happens to watch this, because I'm going to share it with them.
Or if anybody knows anybody with Nissan.
This is not acceptable. You are going to answer for this. There are tons of complaints about this exact issue. And I'm sorry, but you have run into one person that... one of two things is going to happen. Like I said, I'm going to pay for the damn thing myself, but I'm definitely going to exact my pound of flesh on the other side, is I think what's going to happen here. So, and in the kind of the fray yesterday, I missed out on all sorts of good stuff, and I'm kind of upset about that too. I didn't smoke at all yesterday. 420. By the way.
Oh, yeah. Was yesterday 420?
It was. Today's 421.
That tells you how important that day is to me.
Mm-hmm.
What really sucks, though.
You would pass the surprise drug test today.
With it being 420 yesterday. I totally missed Super Troopers 2.
No, that's the other thing I'm really pissed off about is that we didn't get to go see Super Troopers. So.
Damn it.
We'll have to go do that at some point in the near future.
Nope, that's it. That's been the show. We're out. This is...
Yeah, we got a movie theater across the street. See ya.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way,
we wouldn't do that to you.
Want to follow along with us at Twitter? It's at dudes from Dallas. Same thing on Facebook.
Same thing on the grams.
You can find us all over the place. We're on Stitcher. We're on Spotify. TuneIn. I got to deal with the iHeartRadio stuff this week. They are still in business, right? iHeartWatch.
Yeah, okay. They're still in business
for now. So we're going to try and get onto the iHeartRadios as well.
As of the close of business yesterday, they were still in business.
Thank God for that, right?
No static on their stations yet.
At least for the moment.
And, of course, dudesfromdallas.com.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about our website and all of that. Our website is, I think, sort of the content hub.
Yeah.
We make it so that it's convenient for you because you don't need to come and find us. It's not like you got to come to our page. We're where you are. But at the same time, we do have the website as well, dudesfromdallas.com. So you can check that and be a part of it.
And we're working on growing in other areas too.
Are we?
Yeah.
Did you get that penis enlargement stuff that I sent you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. No, I was mentioning this to you yesterday before everything went totally south. I
got pot stories too, by the way.
Oh, good. I'm working on building a mobile app.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if anybody with... now, unfortunately, right now, it's only going to be Android. But I am working on a mobile app for Dudes from Dallas. I've already got the application icon set up. It's lovely. You're gonna love it.
We're having.
It's gonna scream. Oh yeah, it's these guys.
Part of this is great because we're challenging ourselves personally to grow. I mean, there are no producers, there are no companies behind any of this. It's him and me,
completely independent.
And on top of it, we have like another guy named Handicap Jeff who's going to be part of the show. He's going to work with us in the field and edit stuff. And Handicap Jeff's not even here today.
Yeah.
And it's my fault. I feel terrible.
It's at Handicap Jeff on Twitter.
Yeah. Just say hi to Handicap Jeff. He's going to be a big part of the show. But,
and we are allowed to call him Handicap Jeff. We asked.
Yes, that's correct. I have specifically covered that.
Yeah.
So it's like the first time I heard somebody call him Handicap Jeff, I went,
you were offended for him.
Oh, I went later. I'm like, dude, did you tell them that they could call you that? Or like, what's the deal? I mean, I don't really want to call you Handy. Can I just call you Jeff? And then he comes in wearing a t-shirt Friday. And his t-shirt has a handicap placard on it. And it says, I'm in it for the free parking. And I was like, yeah, okay, this guy's cool.
Which he is.
Anyway, Handicap Jeff's not here. It's just, I guess it's the three of us. He's part of the Brain Trust.
Yeah.
Hasn't had a chance to check in on the show yet, but definitely part of the Brain Trust. So that's coming soon. But it's just us. So we're, as we do new stuff, it's him and me. And we're sort of figuring it out as we go along. And there's a lot of cursing.
You'll have to forgive us.
Throwing of things. And
oh, by the way, the rotten mother.
She mad at me again?
No, actually, she appreciated the bleeps.
Oh, good.
She watched last week's episode on the YouTube.
Oh, good.
Which she's very happy now that we're on YouTube.
Good. Well, she'll be able to watch this one on the YouTube as well. It's not just her. There's a lot of people that have said that to me, that it's sort of an easier way for them to consume the show. So,
well, getting somebody that doesn't really know how to work modern technology to download a podcasting app, install the app, right. find the show, subscribe to the show. YouTube comes standard on your Android device, so she's able to just click on YouTube and find it, and she subscribed and hit the little bell to get the notifications for when a new episode appears, which I highly recommend all of you do as well. Hit the little bell. That way you know when we post something new, because YouTube will not tell you otherwise. I'm sure we're probably going to be blacklisted within 3 weeks on that platform.
Hasn't happened yet. Got like 3 shows up, 1 video. Hasn't happened yet. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. It hasn't. Friday was, we've kind of talked at 420. It's like a big thing if you're a stoner. And I assume at least 80% of the audience in this show is going to be stoners on some level.
Well, maybe not.
You may not smoke yourself, but you're like, it's cool, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you're either going to be a stoner or pretty much indifferent to weed in general.
But do you know how the holiday 420 became a thing?
I do not.
You don't?
No.
It started.
Why don't you enlighten me?
It started with 5 guys from Marin.
Wait, 5 guys? What?
Not the burger place.
Oh, damn.
5 men from Marin in their 60s.
Yeah, you were making me hungry there for a second when you said 5 guys.
They are the unofficial grandmasters by virtue of the code they created nearly 50 years ago as students at San Rafael High School in 1971. They said they thought it was a joke. They were talking to CNN. His name is David Reddix, and his 4 buddies, Steve Caper, Larry Schwartz, Jeff Knoll, and Mark Gravich. They were a stoner clique who hung out at a particular wall between classes. They dubbed themselves the Waldos. That was a term that Buddy Hackett coined to describe odd people, the Waldos. On a fall afternoon in 1971, a non-Waldo classmate came to the wall with an intriguing tale and a crudely drawn map. The map purported to show the location of a marijuana garden in the forest of nearby Point Reyes National Seashore. The classmates said the pot belonged to his brother-in-law, Coast Guard reservist stationed at Point Reyes. The classmate explained to his brother-in-law paranoid exposure washing out of the reserves was renouncing ownership of the garden. He handed Caper the map and said the Waldos were welcome to the pot. How come cool... My transmission falls apart. These guys are giving secret treasure maps to pot fields. Man. I'm just saying, life is not fair, brother.
No, it is not.
So they piled into a 1966 Chevy Impala, and they popped a Grateful Dead 8-track tape, passed around joints as they drove the 45 minutes to the coast. The 5 of them, now thoroughly middle-class fathers dressed in polo shirts and khaki pants, laughed about tumbling out of a marijuana smoke-filled car when they arrived at their destination. It was straight out of Cheech and Chong, he says. Well, they didn't find the patch that day, but They vowed to keep searching. They would pass in the halls and whisper 420 Lewis to each other as if a new attempt was planned. They should meet at 420 at the Louis Pasteur statue. The patch was never found. We were probably too stoned, they said. But the 420 Lewis stuck as code for let's get high at the statue after school. Soon after that, it was simply shortened to 420 and meant let's get high anywhere. So there were myriad of reasons for the teens to speak in code about pot in 71. Some of them would be the prison sentences involved. For instance, I learned the other day that up until recently, you could spend life in prison in Texas.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
For having some pot. By the way, these guys, the Grateful Dead, come on. Come on. There are way better jam bands than that. Well, in the 70s, though, I guess maybe not, right?
Yeah, in the 70s, the Grateful Dead was really where
Fish
it's at.
wasn't around yet.
Oh, Oh, that's because they were on hiatus after their 1776 show in Berkeley, where they made everybody fornicate and create the most hearty bred babies ever as the Fish Legion. So
the Waldos don't own any trademark to the 420 moniker, although there are dozens of 420.
Man, you want to talk about a money-making opportunity just passed you by.
There's dozens of these trademarks now, but they are starting to cash in. So if you want
that's good.
If you want to, celebrate the spirit of 420 and
even though it's 421 and after
the progenitors of it, kind of celebrate them. Here's how you do it: go get yourself a Lagunitas, and you need a Lagunitas Waldo Special Ale. It's a seasonal. But the brewery has also given these guys, this is the best part, 5 lifetime passes for free beer.
Woo.
Free beer.
All right.
So.
That's pretty cool.
Trademark.
Free beer. But what if you're not a beer drinker? I mean, eventually you're going to kill your liver with that.
Why you got to bring fact into that was a great story, and you just, what about liver and things? I don't know.
Oh, no. I mean, by all means, take the free beer. You know who isn't having
free beer.
You know who didn't have a good 420? A happy 420? This guy in Indiana who was stopped by Indiana State Police in a 2017 Ford Expedition for a traffic violation near I-70. He got caught with 78 pounds of marijuana. In the back of his SUV,
78 pounds
Christian Ellie of Elbert, Colorado, and one other passenger, 42-year-old Austin Johnson of Indianapolis, were both arrested and transported to the Hancock County Jail on preliminary drug charges.
Holy Christ, I'm looking at the picture. Let's share this on Twitter right now while we're recording.
That is absolutely insane. That is a lot of weed.
420 celebration canceled.
And you know that they were stocking up because this happened earlier in the week, so they were ready to rock and roll.
Jesus, that's a lot of pot.
Listening to some Grateful Dead and some Fish. The street value of the weed.
Are you trying to get caught at that point?
No. Yeah, I think so. 78 friggin' pounds of weed.
That's a lot of weed.
Yeah.
That is for perspective. I'm looking at the picture. That is front seat to back seat, top to bottom of the Ford Expedition filled with pot. Well, I'll put a picture up. Don't worry about it. Yeah, okay. Thanks for that.
No problem.
He put a picture up on his laptop that I am then going to replace in post.
I know. It's all good.
Picture.
But apparently the street value of the weed is estimated to be around $250,000. $250,000.
I could see that. You remember back in the day when they would be like, man, we got $55 million worth of weed. Be like, I don't know who's spending that much money on that kind of weed.
Now I got
nobody I know.
Well, see, that's the thing is that I thought weed was worth a lot more. So is this just like that Mexican skunk weed that we were talking about sending down to the border and sending down to ISIS?
No, they were going to Colorado. They got caught in Colorado, right?
No, they got caught in Indiana.
Were they headed to Colorado?
Oh, it just says that.
I think they were headed to Indiana. State Police stopped them, and I think they were headed to Colorado if I read this story right this week. So it's probably good weed. I mean, I don't know that you would import Mexican weed to Colorado.
And honestly,
I guess you could.
No, they couldn't have been going to Colorado. They had to have been going to somewhere in Indiana because why? Otherwise, why would you transport?
I don't know. Colorado's got to get its weed from somewhere, man.
Well, yeah, but they have distributors and shipping plans for that.
I don't think it's nearly that well put together yet, but I appreciate your...
Well, it's been like 5 years since they legalized it. I'm sure that there is something going on.
It's still not legal federally, so there's all sorts of problems. All right, so there are a lot of... I don't know, this kind of turned into a pot segment, but that's okay. There's a lot of really good medically, scientifically supported benefits of pot. And I don't know if you know some of these. There's some of the stuff we know, like chronic pain, muscle spasms. But did you know that they're starting to understand pot does nothing to harm lung capacity? And in fact, there is a study that was put out by the American Medical Association that found that not only does marijuana not impair lung function, it may actually increase lung capacity. It's because... Got to work them lungs to smoke the pot. Epileptic seizures, we knew about that. It could help control those. It also decreases the symptoms of severe seizure disorder known as Dravet's syndrome, which is another form of seizure. It stops cancer from spreading in cell cultures. That's something that they have determined in research from California Pacific Medical Center in San Francisco.
It slows Alzheimer's disease.
Yes. And that's a big one, actually. They think that the way pot works on Alzheimer's is prophylactic, even. That it protects the brain from the disease by basically wrapping it up in CBD. And here's an interesting thing that I read this the other day, and it sort of made sense. And again, I don't know if it's fact or not, but it was an interesting talking point, which was in the 20s. In the 20s, we basically outlawed not just pot, but hemp. And hemp was essentially a cheap grain, and we used to feed hemp to cows, and it was in our to cows and pigs, and it was in our dairy, it was in our meat, and we consumed it. So whether or not you were directly imbibing CBD or the cannabis oils, even if you weren't smoking it, you were still eating it. So you were getting the prophylactic effect of these things. Gee, is there any wonder why things like Alzheimer's have just exploded in the population? And I mean,
it can ease multiple sclerosis pain, enhances your appetite. Gee, I wonder why.
Helps with inflammatory bowels. Relieves arthritis.
Increases sleep longevity, which CBD gummy bears that you can buy at a lot of like vape shops and everything.
Right.
Those things are really awesome in terms of taking the edge off, helping you unwind, and helping you get to sleep.
And they're not THC based. They're
exactly. You don't get
right. Yeah. You're not going to get high.
Yeah, and you're not getting the psychotropic, side effects and everything. Soothes tremors, relieves anxiety and stress, which I would much rather take something like that than, say, prescription medication.
They've got studies that show that pot could protect the brain after a stroke. It definitely helps veterans suffering from PTSD. Marijuana might even protect the brain from concussions and trauma. And there have been sleep studies that show that THC can help eliminate nightmares by disturbing later sleep cycles essentially. So if you have nightmares, you can smoke pot or take CBD or whatever. And, I mean, the whole system is just more relaxed.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, we get so stressed out. You're talking to somebody that is chronic about it. I'm probably going to die from something stress related at some point. You'll see me.
Yeah, I was really tempted to give you a Wellbutrin right before the show.
This is therapy. Off.
I'm always looking at what?
I just flipped a toothpick at you.
I'm just looking out for you. Just looking out for you.
Okay, I think you're profiting from my pain is what it is.
How can I profit from your pain?
I don't know. Sounded good.
Man, if I could figure out a way to monetize that, I will definitely do it.
Okay, so pot users tend to drink less.
At that point, you're just picking your poison.
No, I am one that I like to combine the two. But I mean, I use less of both.
Oh yeah, where's your cocktail?
It's right here, down on the floor.
With your tiki glass.
And if you have a problem with opioids, the pot is good for helping to prevent some of that.
So that's Donald Trump's real motivation behind just flipping the bird to Jeff Sessions and saying, let's figure out how to make weed legal.
I'm okay with that.
Because he also wants to fight the opioid crisis, so...
Well, they created the opioid crisis. I mean, the fact
well, not
that,
Trump.
The fact that, no, the elites in the country have created and benefited from the opioid crisis forever. So, serves them right. Were you a fan of Seinfeld?
Not when it was on.
Do you know, I read this story this week about the sheer chaos that was that production. They went around and had people fired. Like that okay, so you remember George's fiance?
Susan?
Yeah, Susan. They killed off Susan because she was, quote, an impossible coworker. She was played by Heidi Sweetberg, and in an interview Jason Alexander gave to Howard Stern in 2015, he told this story about how Susan's death came to be written. Alexander had a difficult time getting his comedic timing to sync with Sweetberg's style and complained about it. She was, according to Alexander, quote, f***ing impossible to work with. Seinfeld, Louis Dreyfus experienced the same type of struggle playing opposite of her, and they went to Larry David to find a solution to the problem. Julia actually said, "Don't you just want to kill her?" And Larry David goes, "Kabang! Now we just gotta kill her."
That's one way to meet your TV death.
George Costanza sued the show. They fired. Okay, so Julia Louis-Dreyfus was brought in later after the girl. When they first started the show, the girl was supposed to be a waitress at the diner. And then she was played by Lee Garlington, I think is how it's pronounced. The character's name was Claire. And she was supposed to be like the girl that Jerry and George interacted with all the time at the diner. But she gave Larry David one too many suggestions, and they fired her.
Well, gee. I mean, come on.
Jason Alexander threatened to quit the show after a table read. Season 3, there's an episode where Costanza had no role, and after the table read where the cast went through the script, Alexander told Larry David, the creator of the show, "If you write me out again, do it permanently. Don't tell me your problems. If you don't need me here, I don't want to be here." Oh! The Soup Nazi hated the show. You know that's based on a real guy?
Yeah.
It's based on a real guy. His name is Al Yageni, and he's the Soup Nazi Yev Kassem. And he hated it. It didn't go over well. I guess they used to eat at that restaurant that the Soup Nazi character was based on. The cast did, and so they wrote him in. And after the Yagani saw the episode, he kicked Jerry Seinfeld out of his food stall, and he told he couldn't come back. Shows, I mean, the restaurant's out of business now or whatever, but it's still kind of. That's funny because that's the character most. No soup for you. 1 week. Everyone remembers the Soup Nazi, and that was like based on a real guy.
You know, Tom Arnold wrote the C word on the windshield of Julia Louis-Dreyfus's car. Yeah, apparently the cast of Seinfeld and the cast of Roseanne didn't get along very well. On one occasion, the actress who played Elaine parked in Tom Arnold's parking spot.
Does anybody even remember Tom Arnold on Roseanne at
this
point?
No. She parked in his parking spot, and the two shows were filmed at the same studio. She found a note from Arnold that read, "How stupid are you? Move your car, you asshole." After that, the New York Post reported when Alexander and David confronted him, she found a Polaroid of someone's buttocks left on her windshield and the word "cunt" written in soap.
Did Arnold admit to it?
He admitted to writing the note, but said he wasn't mad and considered the issue closed.
Oh, God.
And, of course, Roseanne had to get involved, and, she called Julia Louis-Dreyfus a bitch on Late Night with David Letterman, left a picture of someone's butt and wrote the word cunt and soap on her windshield, faxed a letter to Variety columnist that said the combination of arrogance and ignorance is quite ordinary in this town, but Julia takes the cake.
So when you work with actors and actresses and people that, like us, that tell stories, and it's a little bit of craziness you got to deal with.
Yeah.
It's part of the job. And here's the thing, like with me, he busts my balls all the time because I'm
allowed to, damn it.
No, you're right, you are, but I have to explain because if you don't understand the logic behind any of it, you just think I'm a nut job. And I'm not. I've been doing this since I was 15. I am a very developed sort of character. And a lot of that, listen, while I'm wandering around the house setting up the studio and throwing things across the room and threatening to kick cats out and all this other shit, the reality is it's going to make for a great show. We're going to be juiced and ready to go and fired up, and he knows that as well as I know that. So there's no advantage to going, I'm going to calm down. No, I'm upset. I'm going to just be upset because then it's going to emote.
And roll with it.
Right, because then I'm going to be able to perform on the show and not just sit here and go, okay, I don't really have anything to say.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, but you speak English well. But there is a limit, right? And when you start, there's a difference between chaotic and crazy and dangerous. And Lawrence Tierney on Seinfeld crossed the line. And you may or may not know that name. I think he only appeared once. He appeared as Elaine's father, Alton. And his role was one that really could have had more longevity. I mean, it could have been a great character, a reoccurring thing, kind of like Jerry's parents came back on the show all the time. But Tierney, they call it strange antics. See, I'm doing the air slots again in front of the camera.
There you go.
But I don't know that carrying a butcher knife in your pants is a strange antic. I'm going to say that's more like casing the joint. Like premeditation. He carried a butcher knife on him while he was on set, and apparently he was confronted by it, and he allegedly started fake stabbing Seinfeld. Jason Alexander said in an interview, Lawrence Tierney scared the living crap out of all of us. While everyone parted on good terms, he was not invited back to the show.
Oh, I would you invite him back? I sure as hell wouldn't.
I mean, if I showed up with a butcher knife, that would probably be about the end of the Dudes from Dallas. Or if you came and just laid your gun on the table next to me, I'd be like, that's...
No, because as a member of the NRA, I am a responsible gun owner.
Do you know there was an episode about guns?
Yeah, and it was not allowed to air because it was too controversial. Okay, so let me ask you, who was your favorite character from the show?
I really liked George.
Why? Well,
because I feel like I am George to a certain extent, like my own personal bad news bear.
Okay.
I got good ideas, and I'm willing to work for it, but the rug just kind of slides out.
Okay, I can see that.
But I think what you're fishing for, because I know...
No, I'm just asking... I was asking who your favorite
George,
was.
but I know the fan favorite had to have been Kramer.
Yeah, until he went crazy.
Oh,
a few years ago.
Do you think now people who were in the past, they were like, oh, this Kramer thing, he's great, Do you think now they go, this guy's crazy?
Yeah. Well, that's when, what is it? Art imitates life and life imitates art. I think that's what got Michael Richards in trouble a few years ago. But apparently his popularity bothered the other stars of the show. His portrayal of Kramer was one that audiences loved. When Kramer would appear on the set during tapings of Seinfeld episodes, the live audience would cheer and cheer and cheer. And I'm sure it was probably pissing off the rest of the people because, who's really going to cheer for Jason Alexander and George Costanza? Not me. George always...
George was a whiny bastard.
Well, here's the thing I didn't like
about
about
George. Was like Jerry's foil, basically.
Yeah, here's my biggest beef with George Costanza was as follows. Dude, you are a 4 or a 5 tops. Okay, that's on a good day. Okay, you
better stop it, or you are going to be put into white boxers. And,
okay,
and I'm
hold on.
That's going to be a portrait.
No, don't.
There's a couch right here, bro. Keep talking.
All right, hold on. Let me finish. All right.
Who's your favorite character on Seinfeld? Well, here's why he's an asshole.
No, I'm just saying I didn't care for him because he's a 4 or 5 at best, and this guy was always trying to go for the 9s and 10s. Guess what, dude? You're not getting a 9 or a 10. Okay, you ain't got that. You ain't got the game to get him. You ain't got the money to get him, and you damn sure ain't got the looks to get him. So stick with what you can get, man. But oh no, he can never be happy with what he got. Oh no. You had the episode where he would like convince the girl he was seeing to go get a nose job because he didn't like her nose. Well, guess what, dude? That's the best you're gonna get. Wow. STFU and move on. You're
really angry at
George.
Why can't you just aim high? I mean,
you can aim high, but
try to achieve. You
can aim high, but you've got to, part of you has to know what you're capable of. Now, sometimes you just get lucky.
True.
So, I mean, I'm not going to judge George Costanza too harshly because sometimes you can get lucky. But you got to make sure that you have something to offer instead of setting yourself up for failure. That's all I'm saying.
So, I know both of us when we're in the car, we use the GPS a lot.
Yeah.
I know you have yours built into the dash and mine's on the...
Well, it's not really built into the dash, but yeah, close enough.
Do you follow the GPS? Do you argue? Okay, so I'm asking because I got a story here, but if it tells you to go like a certain way and you know better, or you have like a different, do you ignore it? Or
if I'm going to some place that I don't really use the GPS or Google Maps unless I'm going to some place that I've never been to before. So when that happens, yeah, typically I'll trust what I'm being told and I'll just kind of follow the directions. Much like yesterday, I'll follow those directions because I don't know.
We're out in the middle of nowhere yesterday.
Now of course, like it did say, it gave me 2 options. I could either take, one highway and go up and north and drive by Texas Motor Speedway, or I can take another highway that had these new express lanes built and ready to use that, would, take us maybe a couple miles out of our way, but get us there faster. So I took the way with the express lanes. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I'll follow those directions. Otherwise, I'm not even turning it on and I'm just going to go where I'm going.
There is a county in California, El Dorado County, which is outside of Sacramento, headed up to South Lake Tahoe, that the roadway goes through the freeway, US 50, that goes through the town of Myers. And it becomes a huge traffic issue for them on the weekends because of tourists headed up to Tahoe and back. So they are discussing now whether or not, or how to proceed with what they're calling electronic road closures. And what they're doing is there's a California law in place that says that when you come across the border, you have to stop at the ag station and get a check, okay? They don't really enforce it right now. But they are discussing how to activate that ag check station in order to close the rest of the roads off around Myers, so that you have to so in other words, you have to stay on the freeway to get to that ag check station, right? So you can't exit and go around it, and they can put closures in place that will basically prevent that kind of stuff. And so they're looking at how to go about cheating the maps and putting this closure in place to basically force the Google Maps and MapQuest and things like that to keep you on the freeway and not allow you to exit. Should they be able to do that? The Google and the Apple and things like that, they have a long track record of fighting this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't see this actually working out. And
but so that's my question: is if they even do it, would you pay attention to it? I'm not going to sit here. I know how to go around. I don't care what the GPS says.
Well, see, at the same time, though, when I drive home, and I drive I live in a, far off suburb of. I don't even think it's a suburb.
You're not even in Dallas. You're not even in Dallas County.
Yeah, no, I'm out towards the country.
Living in the country.
Google Maps will actually have me exit the freeway and ride the service road because it would save me, 2 or 3, 4 minutes on my commute, which I ignore that recommendation because it's the assholes on the service road doing that's slowing down the freeway. So, this is one of those things where if they're trying to cheat the system and they're trying to force new traffic patterns, yeah, no, I don't agree with that. Because like you said, bitch, I know how to get around here. I ain't going to listen to your shit.
Pay attention to what the damn GPS says.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said, if I'm driving to some place that I've never been before, I will input the address and I will follow the Google Maps and I will pretty much follow it explicitly. Otherwise, shut up, Google.
Firefighter in Kansas City, Missouri, reinstated after spitting on a toddler. Black toddler, white firefighter, by the way.
Oh.
So you know how that story went. But hey, they put him on a desk while they investigated. And now he's back.
Okay, why did he spit on the kid? Was the kid on fire?
The whole story's weird. I don't know how you bring a kid to a friggin' Hooters in the first place, but this happened at a Hooters.
You know exactly how and why you bring a kid to a Hooters. I have never been
to a Hooters, so I don't know how.
Really?
Never.
I've
never had their wings delivered.
They changed their menu and they got rid of some stuff that was really good, so I haven't been back in a long time.
There was an incident on February 26th. Terrence J. Skeen. What a great name for a scumbag. Mr. Scumbag Skeen. 42 years old, charged with battery, disorderly conduct, and assault in connection with the case.
I'm just glad it wasn't Skeet.
At an Overland Park, Kansas Hooters restaurant. Moving on. Witnesses said that February 26th, Skeen called the child a racial slur and then spat on the child. You're a tough guy. You are a tough guy. 42 years old, picking on a little kid. Why don't you come over here and spit at me and call me a dirty name? And I guarantee you're not going to even be able to walk to the fucking hospital. I'm so tired of this shit. I'm tired of the bullies. And quite frankly, the city of Kansas, you guys, as far as I'm concerned, you guys deserve whatever's coming to you.
Now, is this Casey Mo or Casey K?
Casey Mo.
Casey Mo.
Casey Mo.
Damn.
Barbara Bush died.
Yes. Yes, she did.
As we speak, they are they're holding her ceremony at a cathedral in Houston. It's being attended by dignitaries all over the world. And then they will take her home to College Station, which is where the Bush daughter that died, that's where she's buried. So mom will be there too at George's library in College Station. It was really weird because I was driving by SMU. I was literally across the street from the Bush Library.
From W. Bush.
W. Bush.
From W's.
From W's library at SMU when I got the notification. And I saw a really touching picture that we tweeted out this week of Barbara and Lady Diana. And, we just, as our memorial, tweeted out 2 beautiful ladies meet again. And she is... The Bush family is controversial, but Barbara is... I'll tell you 2 things that I remember about Barbara Bush. These are the 2 things that I remember for sure. She was a huge boost towards reading in schools. That was her big thing. And I will never forget following Ronald Reagan, Ronald had some issues with the gays and had issues with AIDS and HIV, and there are a lot of people who think that the Reagan family has a lot of blood on their hands in how the HIV/AIDS epidemic was handled in the United States very early on when it was still called the GRIDS. They called it the gay-related immunodisease. They didn't really know what it was. And then after Reagan comes the Bush family. And Barbara, at a time in the 89, 91, I wasn't even 10 yet. They had, of course it was a photo op, I get that, but they were at a hospital that specialized in treating babies born with AIDS. This was at a time where people didn't want to pick up or touch Anybody with AIDS. They just didn't know enough about it. I get it that they were scared. They didn't know how it got transmitted. And there were a lot of misconceptions going out. This is the president's wife. She knows pretty much the whole story, or at least to the best set of knowledge, set of information that you can have. And I remember she picked up and held and hugged on and kissed all these little black babies that were sick with AIDS. And the Bush family, like I said, there's a lot of controversy surrounding them. And I choose to remember the good things. I think Barbara was a pretty good lady, and there were times, even with her kids, you can tell her kids are good people. I mean, George, I hate the running down of presidents for decisions that they make. God help you if you were ever in that position.
Yeah, God.
I couldn't do it.
Oh no. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want that responsibility, because ultimately you're the guy that's going to be either lifted up because it was great, or you're going to be the fall guy because it was terrible.
But either way, you still have to do what you think is right.
You've got to do it.
And I think that he did. So it's her son.
Yeah.
W.
I got a letter from the first President Bush when I was in first grade. We did like a little class project, sent letters to the White House, actually got a letter in response. Now, I'm sure it wasn't actually written by George H.W. and everything, but it's still cool that they took the time, that somebody in the administration took the time to do that. I met George W. once when before he became governor of Texas. He was at a rally for his gubernatorial campaign, and some family
gubernatorial.
Some family friends took me to it because they thought it would be good to expose me to seeing some leaders and all of that stuff.
Your family wanted to expose you to some Bush.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really funny because this was 1993, I believe, when the Major League Baseball strike was going on. Okay. And at the time, he was still an owner of the Texas Rangers. And
Daddy Bush or
W.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
W.
Baby Bush.
Yeah. And
Baby Bush.
It's really funny because he was at that age, I was into baseball. And so he's, walking around the crowd, he's shaking hands, he's talking to people, and
he's shaking babies and kissing hands.
Exactly. He comes by and he's shaking hands with all the people at the table that I'm at, and they're asking him questions about what he's going to do about business and corporate taxes and everything that matters to a gubernatorial candidate, and when you're running for governor of Texas, there's a lot of stuff that you got to take care of. Mm-hmm. And
got to take care of them railroads.
I look at him and I said, "Hey, what's going on? When's baseball coming back?" That was the most important thing.
Did he answer?
Yeah, actually, he looked at me and he looked me straight in the eye and he said, "I really hope that it comes back soon, and we're working on it. It's just a matter of time."
That's
and I was
cool.
like, all right. So everybody's talking to him about politics and the person that was running, he was running against and everything. And I look at him and I said, "When's baseball coming back?" Priorities, man.
I agree.
At the age of 10, that was a priority.
We can't go too much farther in the show today without talking about Starbucks. Not that Starbucks is like a big topic for me or even, listen, I'm from the Pacific Northwest. I like the Dutch Brothers. If I could open up a franchise of drive-through coffee shops in Texas, it would be Dutch Brothers. So the Dutch Brothers get with me because I would run your Texas.
The hell are Dutch Brothers?
Oh my God, it is.
Do they have ovens there?
No, it's not a Dutch oven. It's a coffee.
Oh,
and
is it made from Dutch ovens?
No.
Okay, good.
No, it's just a coffee brand.
Oh, okay. Sure. Is it good?
It's phenomenal.
What makes it phenomenal? What exactly makes a phenomenal coffee?
The people at Dutch Brothers, the people that man the Dutch Brothers. So it's a drive-through coffee thing. They don't really do that around here. That's like something that I've noticed.
What? Drive-through coffee?
Yes.
Everybody has drive-through coffee.
No. You guys have brick and mortar stores with drive-throughs. We have, okay, so you know in Texas where you can go drive up to the little, Garland's a good example, where you can go drive up and get the ice from the little hut in the middle of the parking lot?
Yeah.
They do that with coffee, bro.
Oh, okay.
All over. So Dutch Brothers will basically go buy a little parking lot and stick a hut in the middle of it. And you can drive around the hut and get coffee.
Oh, back when we had like the photo huts and everything.
Yeah, same concept, except for coffee. Right, exactly. So the people are awesome, first off. I don't know where they find these like coffee cracked out kids or whatever, but they are just fully loaded at 5. Welcome to Dutch Brothers. Whoa! It would be like if
I don't think that's coffee. I think that's cocaine.
It would be like if Ric Flair owned owned a coffee shop. You know? Anyway, we were going to talk about stuff. I got on a Dutch Brothers tangent in there. Starbucks had this thing happen last week. I'm sure you heard about this. A couple of black guys walked in, hanging out, waiting for a buddy.
Hey, buddy.
When the manager asked them what they were doing, so we're waiting for our friend. Well, have you bought anything? Not yet. Well, you need to leave. Wait, what? We need to do what now? We need to leave? Why? Well, because you haven't bought anything. So I don't know how this back and forth between the customers and the manager. As far as I know, I don't even think this racist cunt came out from behind the counter. I think she looked and saw these guys and did nothing but pick up the phone and call the cops. There's no attempt to do anything customer based. Cops show up. I personally have massive problems with how the police conducted themselves once they were there. Because I don't think it's acceptable listen, you're not doing anything. I'm going to pick up the phone and go, hey, cops, blah, 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 blah. And then they just come and take you to jail. That's a problem with law enforcement. That's not, you know what I mean? Like, there should be a burden for them to investigate. And, okay, so what were the guys doing? But you're in a position where the manager's saying they're not wanted here anymore. You're kind of out of luck as a cop. You just sort of have to trespass these guys and pull them out. Soon as they started to trespass these two men waiting for their friend, the friend shows up and is like, what are you doing? I'm here. Well, you all have to go. The customers in the restaurant started filming and were just furious about what was going on. So now in May, Starbucks is going to take a day off. Corporate-wide, 8,000 stores are going to shut down, and they're going to have sensitivity training.
Yeah, I think that's May 9th?
That was right before Memorial Day. I thought.
Let me double check.
Anyway, the manager involved has since parted ways with the company. Here's my problem with all of this. Why has the manager not been charged with filing a false police report? See, here's the thing. The cops are kind of in a position they have to do what they have to do. The customers, you can fight with the corporation later on, but you're kind of stuck too. If the manager says you're not supposed to be here, that's pretty much the end of it, whether or not you were in the right. And you can discuss that with the company later on, but you're kind of stuck too. So if the company's not at fault, and the cops did what they were supposed to do, and these guys did what they were supposed to do, and yet everybody's still wrong, then why has the one person that caused all of this managed to escape any sort of judgment whatsoever? Seriously, go arrest this manager. Put her in handcuffs and throw her in a dark hole. That is how this stops. Everybody's confused. Well, why does this keep happening? Well, it's simple. The people that are perpetrating these things don't ever get punished. Personal responsibility. Quite frankly, Starbucks, I think you should call your lawyers and take every single dime that you will lose on that day that you have to shut down, take it out of that manager's ass. Because I'll guarantee you, the rest of the managers in your store, this will never happen again.
Yeah.
Never.
And I don't see closing down 8,000 stores on May 29th.
Are you paying all your employees for that day?
Oh,
Are
yeah.
they going to lose?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, it's going to cost them millions of dollars to do this. So, I mean, I would just definitely try to recoup that somehow, some way.
Right. Charge the damn manager.
Yeah, and this will be the second. Well, they're never going to see that money. At that
no,
point,
but
it's just
I'd
a
love
moral
to.
victory.
No, but I'd love to see the Philadelphia Police Department do what it's supposed to do and file the damn police report.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't understand why you guys are sitting here taking the heat for this. I don't like what you did, but I have to admit that within the current confines of the law, this is pretty much all you were left with actionable to do. So.
Hey, just be glad that the incident went off without like any type of violence or something like that. I mean, it could have gone a lot worse.
Somebody didn't get killed.
That's what I'm saying. You know, let's be happy about that.
I mean,
part.
really, like if so, carry it even further. Somebody does get killed.
Oh man, that would be just a huge cluster.
Okay, so I'm sorry, but if I pick up the phone in California and swat a guy in Kansas, the cops are going to come and throw my ass in jail in California. You're telling me that's okay, but you can file a false police report, have the cops show up, potentially shoot these black guys, because that's what happens when cops and black guys get together. They don't really like each other. You're telling me that that's okay, but the manager's just going to walk? Yeah,
I don't get that. The manager deserves something. This is going to be this is the second time Starbucks will close all of their stores for a day. The first time was in 2008 when they had to retrain baristas on how to make espresso and steam milk.
Okay.
That closure cost the company $6 million in lost revenue. And Jeff Sonnefeld, Senior Associate Dean for Leadership Studies at Yale. Okay, Yale. Estimates that Starbucks will lose about $12 million during the closure on May 29th, which, damn, you're going to close down on a day during Memorial Day weekend? I mean, come on.
It's way less of an impact to their business than not. I have to give Starbucks credit. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's the thing. Starbucks is very inclusive. This is a very shocking thing to come out of a Starbucks. So why are you taking the rap for this? You didn't do this. The company didn't do this. This isn't how you train your people. This manager knew better. There was stated policy she violated. Why is everybody but the one person responsible here not taking responsibility? I don't get it. I just don't. What is there to gain by all of these, by the cops and the company taking the rap for something some stupid racist did?
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
Listen, Philly police, if this is your policy, come arrest me right now. I have sat in a Starbucks and never bought anything. But I'm white, so they won't.
Well, how many
people... I'm white, so the managers won't complain.
There are countless people who have walked into a Starbucks, not ordered a damn thing, and sat there on their laptops and wrote a screenplay or whatever. So
I bought a chai tea for $2.75 and then sat here for 8 hours because I don't have an office with Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly. That was a whole reason for going to Starbucks back in the day. So they're closing down on Tuesday, May 29th. Tuesday, May 29th. Everybody mark that day on your calendar because guess what? You're going to have to get your Starbucks fix from somewhere else. Piss off. The day when everybody is returning to work from Memorial Day weekend, the 3-day weekend, when you're going to need coffee the most, you're not going to be able to get it from Starbucks. If you're in Seattle, Pikes Peak or whatever, that other coffee company, go there. I mean, because they're, God, have you ever been to Seattle?
No, I've been close.
All right, so Mrs. Rotten and I went there back in 2 years ago. I thought coffee shop on every corner was an exaggeration. No.
No,
it's multiple coffee shops on every corner. I mean, there's like Pikes Peak and Starbucks.
Saw the coolest thing. You just made me think of this because I saw the coolest thing ever a couple weeks ago. I'd never seen this before. I saw a Wells Fargo Starbucks combo.
Okay.
Same building. Now, you couldn't physically exit the Wells Fargo and stay in the building and go to the Starbucks. You had to go outside, but it's all one building. I would be down with that. Hey, I made a really big mistake this week.
I
did. I went to, speaking of food joints and things like that. There's this taco shop down the street that I really like. We almost went there for lunch. El Taco H. It is spelled, the name of the restaurant is L. Taco. H. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
Because I know like a lot of Mexican restaurants, they like to go taco restaurant number 1, taco restaurant number 2. So I was thinking maybe they did this with letters and they only got up to H, but I think that's just the name of the restaurant. So I don't know. Anyway, when you go to Taco Bell,
yeah,
or Del Taco, or Taco Bueno, or any number of taco joints,
Taco Casa,
go to a taco joint. When it says hot sauce, meh. That just means it's got a little bite. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
When the Mexican joint that you frequent for tacos has like lots of actual Mexicans eating there, and they're drinking, containers of mugs of horchata, and there's lucha libre masks everywhere. Soccer's on television. These would all be visual signs.
Did you? Is this going where where I think it's going?
You should absolutely heed the skull and crossbones over the salsa bar because.
And I'm going to guess you didn't.
No, I didn't, and I took and doused an entire tostada in it and spent the rest of the night
crying, drinking milk.
I was in pain.
Was it burning out of your ass?
That came the next morning.
Well, I only asked because that actually.
You remember Homer when he went and he had to go do the chanting, and he went on I forget, it's like some episode where he had a crazy pepper and went
Oh yeah.
And he shot fire out of it.
Yeah,
that was me.
Oh, see, I've had something very similar to that happen to me during an on-air bit during a sports show. And oh man, I was paying for it. Breaking news here on Dudes from Dallas. Very sad breaking news. Mini-Me is dead.
Verne Troyer? When did that happen?
Today.
Are you literally just breaking this live on the show?
I am breaking this live on the show. Verne Troyer dead at 49. Well,
we don't even have a break. There's no break. This broke 12 minutes ago from ABC 13 in Houston.
Well, you know what? It's breaking to us.
Man. Mini-Me, Austin Powers, man.
According to a statement posted on his Instagram page, he was 49 years old.
He lived to be really old.
Yeah.
I mean, he was from Sturgis?
Yeah.
That's cool, right?
I'm really surprised that he made it to 49 because first off, the conditions he has that he had, they don't guarantee a long lifespan anyways. But man, this guy was messed up on drugs and alcohol and stuff like that all throughout his career.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh man, there was like some reality show on MTV or VH1 years ago where he was riding around on a scooter, but he was like drunk and stoned out of his gourd most of the time, and he was like. At one point, they show him like peeing in a plastic plant because he just lost control. According to the statement posted on his Instagram page, Verne was an extremely caring individual. He wanted to make everyone smile, be happy, and laugh. Anybody in need, he would help to any extent possible. Verne hoped he made a positive change with the platform he had and worked towards spreading that message every day. He was only 2 feet and 8 inches tall.
The post continues. It says, over the years, he struggled and won. This recent time of adversity, he was baptized while surrounded by his family. The family appreciates that they have the time to grieve privately. Depression and suicide are very serious issues. You never know what kind of battle someone is going through inside. Be kind to one another. Always know it's never too late to reach out to someone for help. Verne Troyer, not the only one that died this week. 28-year-old Swedish DJ Avicii died as well. And that came as a shock to the music world. And I have a really hard time with these kind of stories because, and I'm trying to couch what I'm about to say in a way that's not going to come off as addiction is a personal thing. Avicii was an alcoholic. Verne Troyer, alcoholic. it's not. I don't think we live in a world anymore where you can get away with secretly being a drunk. I think if you're a drunk, you pretty well know it. I mean, somebody's going to tell you. There are going to be obvious signs. And when you become someone like Avicii or Verne Troyer, who was very public about dealing with his substance abuse, I don't think you get a free pass. You know, hey, it's sad. Okay, yes, it is sad. It's sad that these people died, but you're not a hero. In fact, you should be looked on with a bit of sorrow. I feel sorry for you because this demon was bigger than you were, and I feel this is tough. I feel like if you have addiction, you can get help. You have to want it, and you have to do the things that lead you down the path of recovery. Continuing to
well, for people like this, you really have to surround yourself. You have to make the decision to surround yourself around people who are going to be a positive influence for you, not people who are going to lead you down the dark road.
Thank you. It's not just a decision that you have to make. It's a decision that affects everything in your life.
Yeah.
You can't be if you have friends that have destructive habits, they have to go.
Mm-hmm.
If you have partners with destructive habits, they have to go.
Yep.
If you have jobs with destructive outcomes, they have to go.
Yep.
Or you're not going to recover. It's that simple. And some people get it and some people don't.
Yep.
And you don't want to sit here and crush people for dying. I mean, that's not how I want to live my life. I'm definitely sad that these things have happened. And in Verne Troyer's case, I think probably a little bit more acceptable than somebody like Avicii. You know, I'm sorry, but there's a DJ named Laidback Luke he's really well known for being brutally honest about stuff. He's a great DJ, but he's a wonderful personality too. One of the elder statesmen in dance music. And he's gone on record about these issues about Avicii and about seeing what he looked like and all these other things. And
well, and Avicii had, didn't he have like organs removed?
Yeah. He had.
I mean, there
his
was
liver and his gallbladder cut out a couple of years ago because of addiction, because of being a drunk. And one of the most prolific performances of his lifetime was at Ultra Music Festival in Miami. Seek Bromance and Levels, and I think he played a bunch of these. These are all songs, believe me, you've heard. And I went back and watched that performance last night, and all I could think is he is just shit-faced. He's tanked. Sure, that's what DJs do. You're not a superhero, man. It's going to catch up to you.
It does. It really does. The statement concluded, this is back to Verne Troyer, the statement concluded by asking for donations to Troyer's two favorite charities, the Starkey Hearing Foundation and Best Buddies. So if anybody wanted to make a donation to those two foundations, the Starkey Hearing Foundation and Best Buddies, after hearing the news about Verne Troyer, you're definitely encouraged to do so. I got to okay, I'm full disclosure here. I got to thank the wife, Mrs. Rotten, for sending me the message about Verne.
Yeah, I'm good up on
that's what happens when you have a
wife
working in the news.
While we literally sit here pulling our own puds in my apartment in front of cameras and microphones, she's actually in front of an audience today working in real broadcasts. So
yeah,
she's better than us.
She is better than us. She's better looking and everything else. She's just better.
So
it's okay.
Beyonce was at Coachella last weekend. They're trying to rename it Beachella.
Why?
I don't like Coachella anyway. And
Beyonce's
one of the most overrated artists ever.
Can somebody please explain to me this whole Coachella thing? Coachella and Burning Man, both.
I cannot.
Oh, damn it!
Rich kids with too much money and too much time.
That's what I'm noticing.
And then everybody else is like, "Oh, we want to go be a part of that." I really don't.
No.
I don't. You know, follow.
First and foremost,
if you follow my Instagram, you're not going to see pictures of me looking sexy and stuff. It's going to be food pictures and my cats. You know? So there's no point in me going to Coachella or Burning Man. I would go to Burning Man to be a performer and do a bunch of drugs. Just would be fun.
Okay, well, that I can understand.
But Coachella is like, I
thought it was wasn't Coachella like originally like a fashion thing?
Well, wasn't it originally like the Red Hot Chili Peppers and now it's Beyonce? Like I don't.
You know, and honestly, what the thing I don't understand is why in the hell would you get all dressed up, all slutty and fancy, and because you don't wear like stuff from XYZ to Coachella. No. You go dressed in the designer label stuff.
It might be.
I'm not gonna voluntarily drive to the desert to sweat my ass off, to watch Beyonce. I'm sorry, not gonna do it. F you.
Okay, you don't have kids yet.
No, thank God.
But they could be coming.
Well,
sooner, maybe eventually, right? Anyway, moving on.
Don't have them now, thank God. Although the thank God is just more along the lines.
Now imagine you have a 13-year-old daughter.
Oh God. Oh.
And you come home.
I have been plotting the 13-year-old daughter thing for a very long time.
And you come home.
Uh-oh.
Find your 13-year-old daughter.
Doing what?
Oh, hanging out with some 28-year-old.
28-year-old girl, 28-year-old dude, because two totally different scenarios.
It's definitely a him. Well, okay, I don't know that they came home. I think that they lured the guy. So they got the 13-year-old daughter on Instagram.
No, the fact that a 28-year-old is in my house with my daughter and I am not there.
Well,
was she supervised by somebody else, or
I don't think they came home and found it. I think
is Chris Hansen hiding in the bushes about to jump out?
No, the parents were Chris Hansen, so they found on the Instagram these sexually explicit messages between this 13-year-old girl and this 28-year-old man, and they lured him into their house. This is Canadian, so I don't know what a zap strap is, but I think they mean a zip tie. They zap strapped him. Which I think
Google zap
is a zap strap like a thing that I don't know about?
Zap strap.
Oh yeah, well he showed up. We tackled him and zap strapped him.
Oh, it's a wire tie, hose tie, steagle tie, zip tie. Yeah,
okay, it's just Canadian.
It's just a
zap strap. That's Canadian for zip tie.
Yeah, well, it's like a particular brand.
Oh, okay. So when the guy shows up, the couple, they waited, they tackled him, zap strapped him, and they called the cops. They broadcast the entire encounter on Facebook Live. Guess who went to jail?
Were they auditioning for CNBC to bring back the show To Catch a Predator or something?
Well,
I'm gonna guess that the parents went to jail because they lured the guy there.
When the police arrived, the woman announced to the camera that she was being taken into custody. It's Canadian. Well, I'm being arrested because we caught a predator that police refused to catch.
Yeah. What's it all about?
They told the cops about the guy over a month ago, but the cops did nothing. They wouldn't even look at my phone. They just said to block him and forget it. I've been waiting 6 weeks for the police to give me a name behind the Instagram account.
Okay, well, no, okay.
Now, the Royal Canadian Police, the Mounties, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police disputed her claims.
Up there on their moose.
They said that they had an active investigation into the individual and specifically told the woman not to intervene.
Okay, well, you were told by the cops not to do it, but at the same time, as a parent...
So who's right here? Like I said, I'm glad I don't have any kids. That's my Jeopardy song. I don't know. I think that's what that was supposed to be.
You know what? Two wrongs don't make a right in this scenario. But if I were the father, I would have taken care of business myself. All right.
If they killed the guy, okay. If they had beat him, okay. They literally were like, "Here's the guy, eh?"
Yeah, but that becomes like false imprisonment.
Was it false? Here's his wiener on my thing to my daughter.
Yeah, but you brought him here, you zip tied him, and probably violated him with like your eggplant or something.
That's why nothing ever gets done.
That's why. Look, okay, I don't have kids. I know several people that are parents. And I'm just going to put this out there. Look, take care of business yourself. Don't let somebody mess with your baby girl. All right? I wouldn't. Our friend Austin wouldn't do that.
Speaking of Austin.
You know, that hairy guy just got to...
No, he's not hairy anymore.
Well, no, he may have shaved the beard, but believe me.
I mean, the visual, he can cover that with a shirt.
No,
he
he
doesn't
can't.
look like a homeless guy anymore.
No, he can't because it still puffs out. Like, those aren't muscles, that's hair. That's the Brillo pad of death trying to poke through and stab you, okay?
The Brillo pad of death, good God.
You know.
Okay, I'm only going to play a little bit of this. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were going to continue on with Austin.
No, forget that.
Oh, okay.
It's just funny to pick on him. Austin did a good... Do you want to tell him who Austin is?
Austin's a guy that I've known since elementary school. One of my best friends, and he recently got a job as a corrections officer here in the state of Texas.
You sort of adopted him. He's like part of the family, basically.
Yeah, he's basically a brother. He's a brother from another mother.
I'm going to play this on the show because, first off, let me just double check. That's standard license, but that's okay. There was a mixtape put out this week from Wendy's.
I love Wendy's. And their Baconator.
They put out... So you know what a mixtape is, right?
Yeah.
It's stuff rappers do.
Or stuff that, millennials wouldn't get this, but it's something that a lot of people used to do back in the day by recording songs off of the radio.
Yeah, but that's not what this is.
It's not the same type of mixtape.
No, this is
trying to give a general concept.
True. So it's kind of, but you're right. It's sort of your own production. Yeah, that's absolutely true. In this case, the mixtape is songs that they created and they put onto like a 10-minute thing. It's not a full CD. In this mixtape, Wendy's takes aim at every other fast food joint, and it is
Color me shocked.
It's amazing. So I want to try and cue this up. This may not be cued, so I may have to edit this. Hang on. Oh, I think I got it, actually. This may be the last. Get down with yourself, right? So this is the Wendy's mixtape. It's called We Beefin', and I wanted to play this little part for you. All right, here we go. This is one called Clownin', and I just want you to listen. It is awesome.
It's the Wendy, I'ma say it yet again. Don't be silly, you can never mess with this. To beef with me, you don't wanna take that risk. And after this, bet you think about who you diss. It's the Wendy, I'ma say it yet again. Don't be silly, you can never mess with this. To beef with me, you don't wanna take that risk. And after this, bet you think about who you diss. Now, let me go and set the record straight. Before you speak my name, you better think and hesitate. Got nothing to hide, we fresh on the side, but you hide from fun. That's probably why you gon' paint your face. My meals are great, people lining up like every day. Leave you shame, make you run back to Cirque du Soleil. That's cold game, but what you expect from trying to play? Won't say no names, but you a clown, get it, okay? It's the Wendy, I'ma say it yet again. Don't be silly, you can never mess with this. To beef with me, you don't wanna take that risk. And after this, bet you think about who you diss. It's the Wendy, I'ma say it yet again. Don't be silly, you can never mess with this. To beef with me, you don't wanna take that risk. And after this, bet you think about who you diss.
I am all mixtape from Wendy's, and obviously calling out McDonald's.
That Wendy has become one saucy bitch over the years.
Oh man, that is how a corporation. The only thing in social media about food that is any better than this mixtape is the fact that if you go right now to the KFC Twitter page, they follow exactly 5 Spice Girls and 6 guys named Herbs.
Yep.
That's 11 herbs and spices.
Yep. You know, but there's one Wendy's with like on Twitter that will change up their marquee based on different things and just post the most outrageous messages on their put it up on their marquee and then take a picture and like put it on social media. So I love Wendy's. Their Baconator. Oh my God, the Baconator and the Baconator fries.
Oh, the bacon on the Wendy's burgers is so good.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they do to like sprinkle crack on it or something, but it's so good.
You know, it's one of those things. I think it's just the way that they prepare it.
I like it.
You know, what is it? The never frozen beef patties.
Something.
Shaped like a square.
I think it's the square, really. I mean, square stuff does it for me.
Well, but their burgers are juicier than McDonald's or Burger King or insert other place here.
Insert thing here.
Yeah.
Well, we've had do we have what else you got in the stack? Anything good?
Oh, well, you know, I've got the stuff that we teased last week that we never got to.
Is it any good?
Well,
did it hold to this week?
Yeah, there's one of them that really.
Okay. I mean, I haven't seen what's left, so if it holds, let's do it.
Well, you know, we wanted to talk. We were talking about Stan Lee a few weeks ago, and there's a whole new wrinkle to that whole drama. But first, I want to get to the Mom of the Year award. The Mom of the Year award goes to a Texas mother who sent her son to school. And let's see, what the best way to put it. Sherry McCuller sent her son Anthony to a school in Travis County, wearing what she thought was a McDonald's logo T-shirt. But she was in for a surprise when you realize that it's X-rated McDonald's parody featuring a pair of parted women's legs wearing heels with the tagline, "I'm loving it," written underneath. So it looks like the golden arches, the legs are spread.
And this happened in Texas?
Yeah, Texas mom.
Gotta see if I can find this shirt right now.
Yeah, I saw the shirt. It's pretty friggin' awesome. According to the Facebook post, which has been shared over 100,000 times, she had received a box of hand-me-down clothes from a friend.
I just saw the shirt. Did she really think? This kid is a savage. He's a savage. Can we get him on the show?
It's the Mom of the Year, man.
Mom of the Year. That's the kid of the year. You know, I think we got to. We don't do this very often, bro. I think this may be the first documented instance of this, but we got to give this kid the shocker. That's for you, bro.
Yeah. All about it, bro. You did it. You did it, my friend. I mean, and of course, everybody's coming down hard on the mom going, "Oh my God, how could you let your..." Well, okay, you're the Mom of the Year because other parents are condemning you.
Well, they condemned the mom for shaming the kid. I would have been like, listen,
is that really shaming?
I got to do this. But really, but I'm not even mad. It's the kind of parent I am. Oh, it's like, okay, so you've seen the video on Facebook of the two little brothers with paint all over their faces in the bathtub?
Yeah.
Just covered head to toe. Everybody's seen it. So I've seen that video a bunch of times. Mm-hmm. I actually watched the whole thing last night or the night. I don't know, I was bored doing something. Or just, if you've only seen the first half of the video, which is what I had up until this point, you're like, oh man, this dad is so pissed at these kids. Like, they just reminds me and my brother, we were that age, looking up at dad when he was pissed, like, oh God, he's so much bigger than we are, you know? And then you watch the rest of the video, the dad cannot keep it in. He just starts cracking up in them. What's funny, Dada? No, nothing's funny, bud.
Like, I really want to yell at you. I really want to be mad at you, but I can't do it.
This is funny.
You boys are going to pay for this. Oh, wait. No, never mind. It's which, you know, if I had a daughter, that's how I'd be. I'd be like, I am so mad at you, but you're so damn cute. Come here. You have me wrapped around your little finger. All right, so Kevin Smith, who a few weeks ago we determined is not dead.
Thank God for that. Although he tried his best.
Yeah, he tried his best with that heart attack and everything. He has offered Stan Lee to come live with him. Because
that would be
that would be awesome.
Man,
I mean, can you imagine just the comic book magic that would flow during that time. All the ideas that could be tossed out there and all the things that Kevin Smith can help make happen while Stan Lee at the age of 95 is just kind of chilling there. That would be awesome. But there's been a lot of concerns about the well-being of Marvel co-creator Stan Lee. He did not look good during an appearance at Silicon Valley Comic-Con a couple weeks ago. And there's been a report alleging elder abuse against Lee by those who are closest to him. Fans and colleagues alike are growing more and more worried. I mean, his wife just recently passed away, and we know how that can affect you. But Kevin Smith took to Twitter to offer Stan Lee a place to live, and he went on Twitter. The tweet said, "This is heartbreaking. We love you at The Real Stan Lee. You're always welcome to come live with me, or please let us fans buy you a new place to live. We miss you, sir." His message came in response to a report by The Hollywood Reporter that Lee is a victim of elder abuse at the hands of those close to him. The report details a legal document from back in February that Lee's attorney, Tom Lawless, drew up, and that was signed by Lee, that explains how his daughter often disagrees with the handling of her trust and other financial matters, as well as that there are 3 men with bad intentions influencing her. The declaration then explicates how 3 men with bad intentions, I'm not even going to name these douchebags, had improperly influenced his daughter, a woman with very few adult friends. The document claims the trio has insinuated themselves into relationships with JC for an ulterior motive and purpose, to take advantage of Lee and gain control over her assets, property, and gain control of Lee and his assets, property, and money. I mean, that alone is just messed up. Think about it. You're 95. You've got your daughter with these 3 guys trying to take everything away from you before you die.
Right.
I mean, the man's already had so much loss the past few months. Why would you even try to pile on? And I saw this video from this Comic-Con where I wanted to take my laptop and just throw it against the wall out of just pure rage. Because
no, don't do that. Then they'd have to replace you on the show.
I know.
I mean, no, because there's only one throwing of things. You're
exactly.
supposed to be you're the kind of the.
I'm supposed to be the cool level,
You're the calming, reinforcing personality here on this show. I'm the one that gets to throw things.
Great. Okay, well then.
And if you start throwing things instead of me throwing things, the next thing's getting thrown is you.
Oh, great.
We're on the 3rd floor, bro.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Okay, I take it back. I take it back.
Don't be mad. I can't lift you up and throw you over that couch.
You probably could, actually. But, I saw this video where Stan Lee, like there was this guy standing next to Stan Lee, and he was treating Stan like he was a autograph signing machine. Just putting stuff, like one item right after another, not even letting the guy really like interact with the fans, because they were just trying to collect that money as quickly as humanly possible. And I think that that's wrong. He wasn't being given like adequate breaks because of these handlers around him right now.
And he's so old that he just doesn't know any better.
No. And the thing is that, speaking from experience, going to a Comic-Con where Stan Lee is, the fans in that line, while it is very long, will happily wait until Stan is damn good and ready to say hello, sign an autograph, take a picture, whatever it may be. I've been in that line, and I've had to wait a very long time to get through that line. But I was happy to do it because it's Stan friggin' Lee, okay? Pick your battles. Pick your battles. Smith said that man is a legend, and you shuffled him around like he was a bag of money. And, well, I think I think it's just wrong. So I'm going to give a solid to Kevin Smith for offering Stan Lee a place to live.
Yeah, and I hope Stan takes him up on it and gives Kevin his power of attorney, because I think Kevin would take care of him.
Somebody, yeah.
Yeah, really.
I mean, there's a lot of people that would take care of him.
Kevin Smith doesn't need your money, bro.
No, he doesn't.
He's probably got, who do you think's got more money now?
Oh, Stan Lee definitely has more money. There's one reason.
I would like to
There's one big reason why Stan Lee has more money than Kevin Smith, but I'm not even going to say it. But straight up.
Well, no, you can't tease something like that. Stan Lee's net worth is $50 million.
Okay.
And Kevin Smith
net worth.
$25 million. You're right.
See?
Okay. Well done. Well, that is why we keep you around. If you haven't checked out the show on YouTube, do that now because we're on YouTube. It's YouTube/Dudes from Dallas. It's the same thing with Twitter and Instagram, which we don't do a whole lot with yet, but Spotify, TuneIn. If you like Stitcher, we're on Stitcher. We're big on Stitcher. Listen to us on Stitcher. You can find links to all this stuff at our website or just go onto your favorite player and search for us, Dudes from Dallas, and we'll be there. And the website as well, dudesfromdallas.com. And Mr. Rotten, do you have anything to offer on the way out?
No, not really.
Pretty good?
Yeah.
What do we get about a C and C plus today?
Yeah.
Well, no, you had the video, so that's like a full bell curve thing, so.
Yeah. I mean, I still feel sorry for all of you who wanted the video. I mean.
We don't understand, but we will oblige.
I mean, the wife and I watched it on our, 50-inch 4K TV this past week just to check it out.
Did it break?
It didn't break.
That's good.
But it was touch and go there for a minute. Was touch and go.
Well, get used to it. All right, so join us on any of those platforms. Follow us on Twitter. We're on Twitter and Facebook kind of causing shenanigans all week long. So, and then join us next week. We're going to update you more on the www.brokennissan.com because it's definitely something that I feel like pursuing. And we'll have the best of, what do we call this thing? The Cliff Notes?
Yeah, the Cliff Notes of news. Although we didn't have
no, it was very news-based today.
Yeah, yes, there was a lot of news.
I like how we're not even done with the show and discussing how well we did. That's good. The Dudes from Dallas, where the news abides. We'll see you next week.